There is a new story, a fresh story. It is not just of hope, but of an exciting real narrative of a people, their government, and a whole new experience. The story is of the solid steps of Bauchi State to a refreshing new era. Bala Muhammed, the present governor of Bauchi State, may be having conversations on new projects, receiving awards for rural development, and creating a Bauchi State that works. But the story of Bauchi State before now was not always upbeat. In the history of Nigerian politics, Bauchi occupies an enviable position. The state produced Nigeria's first and only Prime Minister, the golden voice of Africa, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. To that man of history has been added others names like those of Dr. Ibrahim Tahir, the Oxford-trained academic and politician, Aminu Saleh, former secretary to the government of the Federation, and Alhaji Yayeli Ahmed, another former secretary to the government of the Federation. Despite the giant strides of these men of history, Bauchi State has remained as essentially district. The state has seemed rather timid to embrace cosmopolitan urbanization and open and inclusive development. The story has now changed. This is what welcomes a visitor to Bauchi State in 2024 Nigeria.
We have an international airport that has one of the longest runways in Nigeria, about 3.4 kilometers. It's one of the longest runways. So the vision of His Excellency is trying to transform it into an international gateway, a port, this international port center, and also an industrial layout. I'm sure you know there's an area has already been earmarked where it's going to be an industrial layout. We have approached the federal authorities. We are looking for license to operate an oil-free trade zone and other zones in this state. So that's the vision of His Excellency.
From the airport into Bauchi City, you get the feel of a people, a state welcoming you into comfort and ready to do business. The airport road is only a tip of what the Bala Muhammed administration is doing with the state capital in an urban renewal drive that is redefining life in Bauchi State and in particular Bauchi City.
The one that excites me most is the opening up of areas where they were not opened. In Bauchi town, we opened up so many places, from Angwan Alkali to Tidung Alkali, and of course Opandumi, and then of course behind Bata, and we did another one, what I call Gongongwan to Opandumi, and then we did another one behind in the railway area, you know, and so many roads that we opened within the town that are too numerous for me to mention. And we paid compensation to people. And we broke brown areas where there was no road so that we can create access. And we built the President Jonathan bypass, which is the Sabang Aura, which will connect somebody coming from Jos to Tafawa Road without necessarily coming into the town. And we broke another landmark area From Gombe, when you want to go to Kano or Maiduguri, you don't have to come to the metropolis. You go through the assembly area, and it's a beautiful road. And there are so many of these roads that are opening up the metropolis. And you can see we are culminating it. And we open up the University Road with the dualization, open up the dualization of the longest dual road done by any state within the northern part, 27 kilometers to the airport and to the university. And even within the city here, we did so many Adamujumba Road, and of course the road in the new GRA, we have also dualized. And we are able to access a private sector who was able to build another road by YM Shapa to go into the city free of charge, because we gave him land, and we practice in a very miniature nature the land swap program in Bauchi, where we access resources and then we built road with the recovery of the land that is very valuable.
The upcoming Bauchi State International Conference Center promises to be Nigeria's gift to architecture and building construction, designed, built and furnished by Nigerians. The conference center reflects the story of the new Bauchi, arms open to receive the world.
The convention center is the climax of what we want to achieve as a state, to make Bauchi the next convention center of the Northeast. People will be coming from the federal agencies, from the international community to hold their conventions, after providing the hotels and raising the GDP of the state, and then becoming very visible and transparent and bringing investment. And we need a place. Our own conference facilities are very low. We have them. We have the Hajj camp where we normally have mega meetings that we have built, but it's not enough. And then we have the multipurpose that was built by one of the governors, and it is very good. But certainly we need a convention center where you have many meeting rooms. We have 1,500 main ball. So you can, for example, hold the next convention of Nigerian Society of Engineers, the MBA, and of course any international convention here, because it's within the city and it's secured within the vicinity of the government house.
No wonder in May 2024, governors of the Northeast will converge on Bauchi first in a meeting of the governors, and then to kick off the Northeast Joint Trade Fair, Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, will unveil and commission the remodeled Bauchi State Government House, one of the signature projects of a new Bauchi State, to tell investors, visitors and strategic event organizers that the new Bauchi State is open to business.
We are soon going to hold Bauchi Investment Summit, because we have just had the Education Summit, the Health Summit. Now it is the Investment Summit that we want to do, and we are inviting people from all over the world and want to showcase our potential in solid minerals and agriculture, mainly, so that we will partner with anybody from within Nigeria and outside. The government house too, you can see how it is. When we came, it was just like a primary school building, and we wanted to put, if we want to show what you are, show where you sleep and what you dress and what you eat. And so this is a symbol of our authority, our center of excellence, so it must be nice. It was a provisional center, capital, but certainly since that time, no attention has been paid to it. We made sure that we looked at it comprehensively. From the local government secretariat, 20 of them that we renovated and rebuilt. Some local government don't have secretariat, so I built for them, furnished them. And then the state secretariat too, since it was built, no attention was paid to it. We renovated, painted, and refurbished. And now we come to government house and did it. And of course, the icing on the cake is the convention center that will soon finish by the grace of God. You can see very soon we'll hold the Northeast Trade Fair, that I'm being able to renovate the Trade Fair complex named after IBB. And you need to go and see it, take picture of it and see what we have done. Because any trade fair in the northeast, definitely it has become the capital. Unless we want to revolve and go to other states for connectivity and of course for networking, but certainly that one is there for the northeast. The trade fair is going to be done by the northeast governors, and they are coming here. We will have the northeast governors forum meeting, 3 days to eat. We will commission this government house by His Excellency the Vice President. You can see all the major stakeholders of the Northeast will be in Bauchi, and so the trade fair will become the conclusive aspect of what we want to do in terms of stakeholding, peer review mechanism, discussions within us as Northeasterners, within the framework of our national aspiration, for us to grow our roadmap as a zone, for us to know our problems and challenges, and to borrow ideas from each other. And you must see that the governors of the Northeast, irrespective of their party, honestly, with all modesty, are doing very well. And it is because we have come together right from the onset, 2019, as a group, ably run by a young person from Borno State, the governor. And we are not hiding things to ourselves. You can see other zones are borrowing from us, but ours is very, very formidable. We have our own water resource master plan, agricultural master plan, road and infrastructure master plan. We are ready as a zone to provide governance and to contribute positively to national development.
We indeed are very happy to have a leader, a very visionary, determined, and enlightened leader in the person of His Excellency the Governor, who has come with a very, very rich credentials and is fast turning Bauchi into the mecca, if you like, of not just the Northeast, but the whole North. Bauchi has been a provincial headquarters since in the early 1900s, and is the same government house that the provincial officers stayed that has been the government house of successive administrations after the state was created. So we are lucky we have somebody. We have somebody now that has seen what is happening in other places all over the world and has decided that he's going to bring it to Bauchi.
The last time there was this kind of a trip was quite long, and His Excellency in his wisdom felt it is quite appropriate that he reinvent the issue of trade fair in Bauchi State, but this time around is going to, cover the entire Northeast. The major focus of this trade fair, the region has suffered lots of attacks of insurgencies and Boko Haram for quite some time, which led to the dilapidation of the entire, macroeconomic activities of the entire region. The whole region are coming to converge in one place, and each state has its own, unique and peculiar, potential. So they are going to come, and then they will be allowed and they will be given the chance to exhibit and to present to not only the sub-region the Northeast sub-region, but other states are also, coming to participate.
Part of the thrust of Governor Balewa is to reorganize the urban landscapes, particularly as it relates to the economic stimulation and the well-being of the people in the city, and also to be able to attract investors. And the key thing is investing in what he calls catalytic infrastructure projects that are a catalyst to other developments in the state.
When I saw the International Conference Center, I was very glad, because it's going to open up so many things for us. Because if you look at it, it's just like what you have in Abuja. None is around here. I don't think we have anything like that in the Northeast. And with this trade fair that is coming up, I've been to the trade fair complex severally. In fact, I have a lot of bookings that I don't even know how to go about it, because people want to stay here and then participate in the conference.
The urban renewal projects in Bauchi State are not exclusive to the state capital. In a clear-headed approach to urban development, The Bala Muhammad-led Bauchi state government is avoiding the errors of many other states in Nigeria. It is rehabilitating infrastructure and access roads in a number of other towns in the state to address the temptation of mindless rural-urban migration, overpopulation of the state capital in the absence of alternative urban centers, and emergence or proliferations of slums.
We are not only restricted to Bauchi, we are doing it in Misau, we are doing it in Nengi, we are doing it in Jamahari, we have done it in Katagun, and we are doing more. We are dualizing all the roads within the vicinity that is public in terms of usage. In Misau, now when you go into Misau, you can drive through up to the secondary school from the College of Education, and people are very happy. In Azare, when you're approaching the town from the roundabout, we go to the MES Palace. In Jamahari, we have opened up the central road that was single and most encumbered in terms of encroachment. The same thing in Nengi, a big town that has been known to wallow in melancholy, in deprivation and want, and they are so happy. From the secondary school, we open it up to the health technology, about 10 kilometers, open up with a dualization and both sides with drainage and the rest, and then another dualization to the MES Palace. This is improving security, making people happy that there is governance in the assembly, but because we are doing it together in terms of teamwork, everything was easy. So our urban renewal, our own Bauchi project, my Bauchi project, has come very handy. At the time we were conceptualizing it, we knew we may not win. We said, well, it may be part of our contribution to whoever won. If my competitor had won, I would have handed him the document, which is very voluminous and very scientific. But thank God we were able to implement it.
The development stride in Bauchi state and under the leadership of Governor Bala Muhammad is a fit reference in frugality and careful resource application. Bauchi state does not enjoy the fortune of robust resource allocation from the Federation account. With a large workforce in a country where government are the largest employers of labor, Bauchi state operate on bare thread financial resources to get the job done and deliver on his promise and vision for Bauchi state. The Bala Muhammad administration has managed every kobo to count.
We are driven by a budget, and as I said, we try to free resources. I would have linked this into the issue of procurement. Having a procurement law that we didn't have, and looking at it from the perspective of making correct and transparent, competitive procurement, using little to do much is what we are doing, and then plugging leakages to ensure that there is no leakages, even in the ghost worker syndrome. We are able to save a lot of money, but it is not yet whole. We have not really gotten ourselves freed from the scourge, because it's an industry and we were fighting an uphill task. But certainly we have freed over 2 billion. But it's unacceptable for Bauchi state and local government to be paying 7 billion naira as salaries, when the percentage of workers is just less than 1%. And we have the demographic that is against us. We are almost 10 million people. Our resources, our services are overstretched. Health and education, agriculture, and even water resources. So we come with a budget in a manner that we are able to save resources and raise our IGR. IGR is the key. We raise it from 300 million to 1.5 billion monthly. And we're able to achieve that and even exceed it sometimes to 2 billion. But where we are okay, we are comfortable. We will be there by persuasion, by discussion, so that people will know it is for their own benefit, not just to send things down to them and hold and think, and then they will not understand that it is the taxes that will drive development. But certainly we are using our IGR to drive our development and get money from the international development agencies. So much money. We even got some refund from the federal government that we used, and we deployed it in the development of the state. So what we actually got outside the federation account is more than 2/3 of the resources I deployed. People are asking me because we did it with sincerity with the development partners. I'm a federalist. I work in the federal government. I leverage my relationship with people at the federal level. I never worked in the Bauchi state until I became governor. And so my constituency is the federal government. And so all the MPs, irrespective of my opposition status, were ready to give me support. And to me, there's always a departing point from electioneering and campaign to governance. And this will have come together a converging point with the current president. There's a difference between campaign and governance. Now it's time for governance. The same people who voted APC voted me. So we should serve our bosses, the people of Nigeria, the people of Bauchi State.
Consideration was to deliver. As you know, quite often governors start projects or government starts projects that end up as white elephant projects. We're determined that it will not be a white elephant project. Just because the governor made that assurance, he was determined that it's not going to be a white elephant project. And so we, in our own, following his footsteps, ensured that everything we did was to be completed on time, to be built to world standards, extraordinary standards. And so I'm actually very surprised at his doggedness to get this project done. We are succeeding today not because of our capacity, but not only because of our capacity, but because of his capacity to ensure that the work is done. If you take pictures or you look at the government house or the ICC in isolation, you will not know where you are. You think you are abroad. So we have standards that will rival Dubai, New York, call it Perth, Australia, London, England, any of these international countries or states.
For the contracting firms executing the project, their job is cut out for them. Deliver world-class project, use them to create jobs for the people in Bauchi and give the economy of the state a shot in the arm.
85% of the workers on site are Bauchites, the Bauchi people. We have professionals also in the built environment. All our QSs, quantity surveyors, are Bauchi people. Some of our engineers are Bauchi people. Certainly we brought in architects from outside the state, but as we've come in, we recruit them to do also do work for us. There's a company in Bauchi State here called, I think it's Sahelian Granite. They produce some of the best granite in the country. Best granite in the country. And His Excellency warned me, said, Ruben, if you order 1 square meter of granite from outside the state, you shall be sacked. Immediately. He told me. And so all our granite for this project is gotten from Bauchi at the local quarry. You'll be shocked at the kind of equipment they have there. It's an international quarry actually. They produce all kinds of granite. And so he warned us that we must provide granite from Bauchi State. Even cement we buy locally. Iron rods we buy locally. Paint we buy locally. Occasionally we go to Abuja to get certain things. Most of the contractors are local. Our mechanical contractors are local. Air conditioning, nobody from outside the state. Our plumbers are local. Our tilers are local. Our painters are local. And so we've made an effort to ensure that the money circulates in Bauchi State. So there's a certain cycle we have where the money comes to us and is being recirculated in the state, which of course ultimately improves the economy and ensures that life is better for people.
When the governor came, the Bauchi State was using the 2017 law, Budget Monetary and Price Intelligence, but he, because of his desire for due process in procurement, he now invited the first Director General of Public Procurement in Nigeria, Engineer Eze, to come and review the law. So that made him to review the law, and the new law was passed in 2020, July 2020. That's the new Bauchi State Public Procurement Law, of which I was the DG then, and the Executive Chairman then, now the DG, according to the law. So that passion alone to review the law means the governor meant well for Bauchi State. And the law prescribes different methods of procurement, which is used to procure government projects. And as you rightly say, the whole of Bauchi is like a construction site. There is no local government, there is no project of $1 billion ongoing in Bauchi State. No. So that is because of the procurement guideline and the laws being implemented. And the new government house you are talking about, because it is a design and build project, it's not every contractor you just call. But I know 3 contractors initially were like invited to bring the designs. When it comes to the public procurement, we have to ask the Ministry of Housing to add 2 more, making 5 submissions. So the 5 submissions were presented, were screened, and those who were pre-qualified came and presented to the State Executive Council.
We monitor independently. Whatever we observe that is out of place, we now mention it or point it out to the MDA responsible for it, while we keep our eyes on that, what we observe to be not okay. I'm almost certain the savings made will not have been made. Over the 3 years, we have served the government over 3 billion naira. Wow. Raw cash that would have been paid, either to consultants or direct students or wrong bidding. So, and we keep reporting to the governor on the whole project under review.
To encourage the emergence of a society with knowledge base that can take ownership of the present development initiatives and sustain them as a culture in public administration, the Bala Muhammed government is putting premium on education.
After providing a lot of road infrastructure in the villages in the rural area and built about 5,000 classrooms so that we can reduce the spate or prevalence of out-of-school children in Bauchi State, which at a time we had the highest, and now we have reduced it by about 700,000 by building more than 5,000 classrooms. What we are battling with the issue of human capital, the qualified teachers that we need to be there, and the attitudinal change in the primary health, the state universal basic education commission, so that teachers will have the right attitude. It is not the number that matters, it is the attitude. They hardly go to classroom, and so we are deploying technology and reorientation. And to that extent, we even created the Ministry for Religious Affairs and State Reorientation. So we are doing so much. It's a hallmark gamut of activities that are being done in order to make sure that we make the difference and that Bauchi comes to the forefront in terms of development, so that we can contribute our quota in terms of making sure the GDP of the country improves.
The state government is not making light of its comparative advantages, even as Bauchi State pushes toward a modern economy.
Bauchi strides amongst all the 2-3 geographic vegetational zones. It's in the savanna, the Sahel savanna, and the semi-arid, this in savanna. So you can virtually plant anything you want in one part or another of this in Bauchi State. So we have that comparative advantage. Secondly, Bauchi is bordered by 7 states. So Bauchi is naturally the hub or the gateway, if you like, to the northeast, of which Bauchi is part of, to the north central, if you're going to through Plateau, or even if you like, you can go through and link out to Benue, or to the northwest, go to Kano and Kaduna. So that's the position that nature has placed Bauchi in, and it takes a visionary leader to understand that. And that's why all the developmental projects that are being done deliberately.
The state government is putting high premium on agriculture, solid minerals, and small-scale industries, the very sector that the state has enormous opportunities.
We have not stopped in the urban renewal. There is connectivity between urban and rural. We have built over 5,000 kilometers. When we are doing it now with the World Bank under RAM, to make sure that these roads are viable, they bring agricultural produce into the metropolis and open up areas that were just had no hope. I will just give you a few examples. A road from Tapshin up to Lere in Tafawa Balewa area, 29 kilometers. They never thought that I would do it. I'm doing it. And then the road to Lame, 42 kilometers. Lame is one of the oldest traditional settlements in Toro local government. And then a road from Galdimari in Jamaare up to Shira, going through Beli in Katago, another 29 kilometers by River Jamaare, rich area that was abandoned. These three roads alone, apart from so many of them that I did before, Burga to Elwanduguri, and then of course the one that I did in Ogoro, the one that I did in Katagum, so many roads that we have done that are too numerous for me to mention. And they are all connecting to create that rural development that will be the purveyor of our own potentials in agriculture and rural development. And that is why we are even given an award by former President Buhari as being the best state in terms of rural transformation. But coming back to the palliation, you can see the committee we have is a very strong committee. We are able to partner with the federal government, get a lot of drugs from NEMA, from Federal Ministry of Agriculture, and from Northeast Development Commission. And we bought maybe the same amount of food items. We dole out about 2.5 billion from our reserve. As I'm working as a governor, I have a reserve that I'm keeping. I had more than 6-7 billion before the commencement of the palliation, and I took 2.5 and gave about 250 million for logistics, and they did it very well. And that's why when I saw that I have resources, I had paid salaries, I said, let me give something to the civil servant to show appreciation, 10,000 across the board. But before then, you remember our people, the only place they go to pray and to look out for tourism and for commerce is Hajj. And then the federal government came with a very obnoxious policy of not giving subsidy. So I gave 50% subsidy to all the increase, about 2 million, amounting to 2.2 billion naira that I gave as subsidy to pilgrims across the board in the state. That has spurred and encouraged other states to do similar things after I did. And I'm happy I did it because Kepi did more than myself. Jigawa, my neighbors, did more than my, but I have the numbers. Kepi had the highest number. So, but you can see this has really made people very happy. Yet, as we said, it is not sustainable. We have to come with sustainable policy, and we have already come with it. That is under the SMEs. We will give resources or capital to our young people, entrepreneurs that will go into the field. We are coming up with a summit on investment. After that, we have taken inventory of all our entrepreneurs in the country, especially young ones. I have over 2,000 now on my fingertips that I can call, and I know what they can do. They are based in Lagos, they are based in Abuja, Kano, and Kaduna, and they identify with me. And I want to take them on this trajectory, this transcendental journey, that triumphant journey that we want to transcend and leapfrog the state through the building of capital and investment. And by so doing, by the time I'm finished and somebody takes over and sustains it, definitely Bauchi will become different.
The story of the effort to establish a new Bauchi state is that of development that is creating a sense of collective aspiration and collective ownership, and the people see the government as theirs and its achievement as their new story.
Whether we like it or not, distinguished Senator Abubakar Muhammed is the architect of modern Bauchi. We have had, he's the 16th governor also. If each of the governors had done a little bit of what he is doing today, Bauchi would have been the moon.
My Bauchi program is a very ambitious program that was crafted by a team of consultants, academics, politicians, and what have you. And we looked at all the sectors. And of course, urban renewal is part of it. But we looked at agriculture and carried out the baseline studies in agriculture. Where are we in terms of yield, in terms of crop production, and then of course in terms of comparative advantages in the areas of making sure that the value chain improves. And what do we do in terms of farm implements? How do we provide fertilizer at a very affordable and accessible means, and without risking the issue of it being used for economic gains? And how do we change attitude generally? Of course, in health and education. How do we make primary health center to have affordable drug revolving fund that can be accessible to the common people in the villages, using our relationship with the international community, with the development agencies, especially in UNICEF, WHO, European Union, and so on and so forth. We are able to do so much, and I must express my gratitude for them. We all factor them into it so that our own relationship with the international community will have visibility, transparency, and fidelity, and that they will be able to build trust. And you can see, I'm very happy, most of the people, most of their representatives, when they came here from Canada, from UK, from America, they express a lot of trust in us, because we want to ensure that what they are set out to do in terms of humanitarian assistance gets crystallized, gets actualized, not really frustrating them the way it used to be. And so, in water, in education, in health and nutrition and what have you, we know precisely where we are, and we are not pretending. We are not trying to satisfy anybody. We are trying to satisfy ourselves, and that is the difference. And we have deepened monitoring and evaluation, supervision, which is the key word. And I'm here 24/7. I hardly stay away from the state, and that has given the people direction. And of course, we have deepened stakeholding in terms of carrying along the academia, the traditional institution, the private sector, and of course our ulamas and our clergymen. They are all on the same page. When you see the spate of agitation, advocacy for self-actualization, it is because of impunity, because of exclusion and arrogance. We have had government that are happy to exclude people because they have not voted for them. And the minorities must be respected. Minority, it is the semblance of good governance for you to include, to be inclusive. In Bauchi, since I came, there had not been any patricidal, ethnic or distinct, tribal or religious fight, which we are known for. People in the southern part of Bauchi that I came from really identify with me, and I got them well entrenched in the system in terms of recruitment, in terms of involvement, in terms of stakeholding. And so, and even given the portion of development, I make sure I put it on a broad spectrum. Every section of Bauchi, irrespective of what they are getting sense that they deserve. Because if you don't deny anybody because of sentiments, you are not going to grow. It will become a black spot. So we should avoid creating ungovernable spaces within our states, even within the country. Include everybody. This is what we require as a state and as a people. Mind you, we are the most populous black nation on the surface of the earth. And we are already identified as blacks, not as Muslims or Christian or Igbo or Hausa. We are called blacks. And we have the same expressions, the same outlook. So what we need to do is to break that jinx of tribal sentiments, religious sentiments, and come together and build a nation, a bigger nation. Because once Nigeria grows, the black man becomes important, asserts himself.
And the traditional institutions honor the man who is leading in these solid steps to a new Bauchi.
You can see how the emirate reciprocated by giving me titles. I am the Kaura of Bauchi, I am the Anjika of Misau, Jagaban of Katagun, and of course the Turaki of Nigi, and the Waziri of. There's so many titles coming because I didn't ask for it. And I didn't want to collect, but I said no. These are genuine gestures by the emirs who are the custodians of our tradition and values and who appreciate what I'm doing.
We are 100% more than proud of with Senator Abubakar Muhammed because he has done so much. He has touched the life of people of Bauchi State. Yes, there is no politics about this one. It's something that you can see it with your naked eyes, and in some places you can touch it.
A lot of transformation, a lot of achievements, a lot of things. In fact, the narration of Bauchi local governments and the state at large is drastically changing.
He is doing all what he could to make sure that Bauchi answer its name, the former name that Bauchi has, and that's why he is doing all what he's doing. He is working like no day, no night. He is working day and night. He is performing like a machine.
Bauchi has really changed. Bauchi looks like almost other states. It's improving. The gap between when he took power and now, there's improvement.
The man is very trying. He's trying. He's doing his best to make everywhere is good. Even the roads, yes, the water, the lights, he's trying. He's the best governor so far now.
The governor is trying. As the number one citizen, at least he's trying to bring development to his state. He wants his state to be like other developed states in Nigeria.
Bauchi has really been developed during his regime. So many changes has taken place, which we much appreciate it.
I would like to congratulate my husband for the very big achievement he has done to Bauchi. May Allah be with him. May Allah give him more and more strength and wisdom to continue what he has been doing or what he wants to do in our Bauchi and the entire community of Bauchi State.